Recorded Books and One-Click Digital present Cowboys and Gangsters, Story of an Untamed Southwest by Samuel K. Dolan. Narrated by Bradbury. Introduction. Six Guns and Automobiles. Quote, Major Grover Sexton, the Arizona Sheriff. They live and succeed through the instrumentality of the mechanical successor of the cow pony of their earlier days and of their big .45 caliber pistols, which nothing has yet succeeded. On the morning of June 21st, 1928, 69-year-old Yavapai County Deputy Sheriff James Franklin Roberts prepared to leave his house in Clarkdale, Arizona. Stuffing his .45 caliber Colt single-action revolver in his pocket, Roberts, who was known locally as Uncle Jim, bid his wife Jenny farewell and walked into town. By that summer morning, Roberts could look back on a law enforcement career that stretched back nearly 40 years. The Missouri native had been raising horses in the Arizona Territory's Tonto Basin when the Pleasant Valley feud erupted in the late 1880s. As an ally of the faction headed up by brothers James, John, and Edwin Tewksbury, Roberts would participate in a number of bloody gun battles in what would become the deadliest range war in Arizona's history. During one particularly violent incident in August of 1887, Roberts is alleged to have shot a gunman for the rival faction through the head with his big .45-90 caliber Winchester. By the early 1890s, Roberts had left the Tonto Basin and had accepted a deputy's commission under Yavapai County Sheriff William Bucky O'Neill in the mining camp of Congress. Jim Roberts works in the mine nights and by day keeps peace in the village, he being deputy sheriff, the Arizona Republican reported in the summer of 1891. It was also while living in Congress that same year that Roberts married Amelia Jenny Kirkland. In January of 1893, Roberts was assigned to the mining town of Jerome by O'Neill's successor, Sheriff James Lowry. Roberts established himself as one of the most efficient and fearless officers in Arizona, and after serving as a deputy sheriff and precinct constable, was elected as Jerome's city marshal. Following several very active years spent policing the mining town, Roberts and his wife relocated to Cochise County in southern Arizona, where Roberts would work as a special officer at a smelter owned by the Copper Queen Mine, and later as a constable in the town of Douglas, which sat along the U.S.-Mexican border directly opposite the town of Agua Prieta, Sonora. Returning to Yavapai County with his wife in the 1920s, Roberts, who was then in his 60s, accepted a position as a special officer for the United Verde Copper Company in the smelter town of Clarkdale, a job that came with a Yavapai County Deputy Sheriff's commission. Many changes had taken place in the Verde Valley since Roberts had last worn a badge in Yavapai County. Statewide prohibition had come to Arizona at the beginning of 1915, and as the 18th Amendment to the United States Constitution became law across the nation in 1920, the valley, which included the communities of Verde, later Clemenceau, Cottonwood, and Camp Verde, became a haven for moonshiners who produced white mule in stills made from the very same copper mined from the hills around Jerome. Raids by Prohibition agents and members of the Yavapai County Sheriff's Office were common throughout the 1920s, and gunplay wasn't exactly unheard of. The job of a deputy sheriff assigned to one of United Verde's mining operations wasn't without its risks. During World War I, labor disputes in the mining towns of the Verde Valley had resulted in several deadly collisions between area peace officers and members of the local workforce. On the afternoon of Tuesday, July 16, 1918, 63-year-old James Lowry, a former Yavapai County sheriff, was working as a deputy at the United Verde extension mine in the community of Verde when he was shot and killed by a man named Porfirio Hernandez during a labor dispute. Hernandez was killed 3 days later in a shootout with Coconino County Deputy Sheriff Frank Dickinson. Thus, when Jim Roberts left home on the morning of June 21, 1928, it wasn't merely out of habit that he packed his Colt .45. Just before 11 a.m., while Roberts made his rounds, 2 armed men, later identified as Willard Forrester and Earl Nelson, walked into the Clarkdale branch of the Bank of Arizona, pulled out their guns,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?